How far are you from putting these into humans?
Well, I do want to emphasize we're at an early stage. For many years, we will just be solving brain injuries and spinal injuries for probably a decade.
Wait, did Elon basically just say that it'll be a decade before nerve gear type tech can enter the consumer space? Well, we're going to be going over that question as well as what he actually implied in this video. My name is Gregory, and welcome to the channel, my dear viewer, for Virtual Dreamers. This past week, Elon Musk was interviewed by head of TED, Chris Anderson, regarding his various projects, companies, and endeavors. They went over everything from Tesla all the way up to SpaceX's Mars efforts and even buying Twitter. The part of the interview that's relevant to this VR-loving channel today actually came just after the possibilities of robot catgirls.
I mean, I did promise the internet that I would make catgirls. We could make a robot catgirl.
Which was when they were covering the matter of artificial intelligence. For the uninitiated, one of the goals Elon's company Neuralink was apparently founded with is the primary aim of furthering human-machine symbiosis to prevent AI from completely leaving humanity behind intelligence-wise. This is relevant for our virtual dreaming selves as the brain-computer interface technology that comes as a requirement of human-machine integration is pretty much perfect for virtual reality and has been used for such in just about all popular media, from The Matrix to Sword Art Online. We didn't really get much new information in this talk, but we did get a mention that they've submitted their application to begin human testing and are just waiting for a response at this point. By all means, this is actually really good news, especially considering just how much further Neuralink will be able to push the bandwidth connection between humans and machines with the thousands of electrodes involved in its design. However, before we get too excited, it's important that we listen to everything Elon has to say.
Rolling the clock forward and imagining when people are actually using these for their own enhancement, let's say, and for the enhancement of the world.
Well, I do want to emphasize we're at an early stage, and so it really will be many years before we have anything approximating a high bandwidth neural interface that allows for AI-human symbiosis.
That's right, Neuralink isn't really expecting to have a high bandwidth connection to the human brain in the consumer sector for many years, and really will probably just be dealing with taking care of patients for the next decade. I can't say this is very surprising, as it is important to remember that advancements in the medical space, by necessity, need to happen at a different pace compared to the normal tech sector due to the regulatory and safety concerns involved. I mean, heck, they are literally waiting right now on regulatory approval to begin human testing, and this really shows you how that kind of regulation can really cramp on Elon's usual style of just pushing things forward or throwing more money at it. I think it says a lot when the guy who expects to have people on Mars relatively soon has a worst case scenario in their mind as a possibility for Neuralink.
And worst case scenario, I think we solve some important brain injury, spinal injury issues, and that's still a great outcome.
Right.
For those of you out there for whom Sword Art Online and nerve gear need to be things by this year, this is probably going to sound like we're canceling Paradise about now. For everyone else, I think we can all agree that Elon's worst case scenario here is still by far an immense good for human society. Fusing humans with machines to evolve into a superior AI competitive transhuman species isn't exactly the goal here, and we don't even necessarily have proof it needs to be the goal here yet either. If all we're looking for here is to be able to play some games with our minds, then I think this is a much more achievable goal, and it's something that Neuralink has already shown is on their minds as well. After all, when you consider their mention that
for many years we will just be solving brain injuries and spinal injuries.
You must realize that this feat and controlling computers with your mind are basically one and the same technology, just being used for different applications. Real life versus VR. Even if it takes a decade or more for them to get past the medical stage to reaching a more entertainment or consumer focused use, that's still a pretty darn short time frame to go from nothing to near on complete body control mapping via brain-computer interfaces. Time will tell whether or not we get the best or the worst case scenario that Elon and others have in mind for the BCI space, but I, for one, really appreciate the statement he made in the video.
This is not something that will suddenly, one day, we'll have this incredible sort of whole brain interface. It's going to be, like I said, at least a decade of really just solving brain injuries and spinal injuries.
Heard it from the man himself. Stay tuned, everybody. It looks like we're in for one heck of a ride. Thank you very much for watching my video, my dear virtual dreamers. If you'd like to keep up with my own game development efforts and news on the channel, follow me on Twitter at MarkystalVR. Till next time, my virtual dreamers, this has been Gregory, logging out.